So, what's it like to sell everything and move to Thailand? It sucks. Hi, I'm Scott, a former military pilot and airline pilot from Texas. At 55, I decided I had had enough and embarked on a plan to retire in Thailand. So I did my homework, sold everything, and moved to Thailand. Now I'm living the dream. Hey y'all, welcome back to Text to Thai. In my first video, I said my channel was going to be a how-to series. How I went from where you are today, sitting on a couch watching YouTube videos, to being a successful retiree in Thailand. To do this, let's add a little perspective. Let's say you're a rich guy living in LA with jets, cars, women everywhere. You even have a ski cabin up in the Lake Tahoe area. Is moving to Thailand going to be an improvement in your standard of living? Probably not. But if you're a guy working a crap job, living in a tiny apartment with a limited dating pool, is Thailand going to be better for you? You bet. But what about the rest of us? There are some of us who have been successful, we're just not rich. And there's a huge gulf between broke and millionaire. And I think that's where most of us fall in. Equally true, there's a big difference between a guy who's willing to sell everything and show up with nothing but one suitcase and somebody who wants to maintain some standard of living. That's the path that I'm on. Just remember, this is not about bragging. I show you the life that I had, the cars, the toys, the boats, and the guns and motorcycles, all that stuff, only to show you the standard of living that I had when I was an employed airline captain flying in the United States versus the life that I have to live trying to stay on budget on my retiree money. The next step was prepping my house for sale. I'm an old fat guy who's conditioned his body to sit in an airplane for 14 hours across the Pacific. And in an effort to keep a little bit of my dignity intact, let me just say that scraping and painting a house for an entire week kicked my ass. To that end, let me say thank you to Patrick, Steve, and McCain for coming and helping out. And that brings up another topic, good friends. Friends. You're gonna need friends. Whether it's something as ball busting as painting an entire house or even just a ride to the airport, having friends is going to make this process a lot easier. Something has changed a little bit, so let's call it an update to the plan. As time went along, the money started rolling in a little bit better than I initially had hoped or had planned for a year ago. The house sold for a little bit more. I was able to work a little bit extra. And so now I've decided not to sell everything. Have a few guns, bullets, motorcycle, some winter clothes. And I sent those things with my best friend back to Louisiana for safekeeping. Plus, if things go great in Thailand, I can always have him sell those things later. But let's face it, there's a 50-50 chance that retiring overseas doesn't work for you. A lot of people give it a try and end up going back to their home country. So having that flexibility just seemed to be great. But you can't do that without good friends. My last video was filmed in December of 2021. Now it's the first week in April. My original plan was to take a vacation in January, but not treat it like a vacation. I was going to fly over there and take 3 weeks off from work and try to live as a retiree, not as a vacation guy with his hair on fire. Well, COVID killed that. January is when they went to full-on batshit crazy with their COVID policies, including the 5-day PCR test and random testing at events. Come up hot on any of those things, and it was off to COVID jail. And there was even some rumors going around that the Thai insurance that they forced you to buy wouldn't pay for Thai COVID jail if they sent you to an ASQ hotel. So now you were on the hook for double hotel cost. Plus, you couldn't come back on time, and that would be too hard with my schedule for work and taking care of my dogs and stuff like that. So that got scrubbed. And here it is in April, and I've decided to jump into retirement with both feet. And I'm going to take you along for the ride. Okay, let's start with the house that I live in. Let me spin the camera around and I'll show you a quick tour of my tiny little house. So there's a small U.S. kitchen. This is my living room. This is where I sit around and watch YouTube videos all day. That was my office. Coming down the hallway here, the master bedroom with bath and the guest room. Take you outside to the garage. This one's normally my garage is awesome, and right now it is set up for the garage sale. So this is the pallet that I'm shipping my world on. I'm cutting down to 3 suitcases and 1 pallet. I'm not gonna lie, life in Vegas was awesome. Beautiful weather, world-class nightlife, and there was always something to do. One of my favorite things about Vegas is it's a shooter's paradise if you're well equipped, and believe me, I was. Vegas offers unlimited shooting opportunities. Next, four-wheeling. The areas around Vegas and South Utah like Moab are legendary, and there is some great camping there too. Here are a few shots from my trips over the past 5 years. The California, Nevada, and Utah area has some great motorcycle destinations. And finally, boating. The Nevada, Arizona area has some awesome lakes and rivers and is a boater's dream. Professionally, like all jobs, my career had its ups and downs. That's a bad pilot joke, just in case you missed it. But seriously, there were some exciting times, like this picture shot on Christmas Eve over Baghdad, or here where we were flying COVID vaccines around the world. My job allowed me to see some incredible places, and I will always be grateful for it. Okay guys, last update for this video. Today is Thursday the 14th, and I'll give you a quick glance around. I have been selling my stuff for about 2 weeks now, and about half of my furniture is gone, and a little more than half of my stuff is gone. But I've learned a couple of things in this. Number one, don't depend on the money from selling your stuff to finance anything. I'm selling things that I spent $200 on for $5 to get rid of them. The garage sale crowd, they don't have any money, or they sure as hell don't want to spend it. So that's one thing you can pretty much depend on. Also, I've got my visa approved and my Thai pass approved already. I'll be doing 2 separate videos on those to let you know how to go about that, especially getting an OA visa from the States. So look for that video. Okay, I'll wrap up this video with talking about timing. While I started researching this and planning all this stuff a year ago, you get into this weird paradigm where you can't do everything 3 or 4 months in advance. I'll give you an example. You can't sell your house until you know you're going to be able to get a visa, but you can't get a visa until you have your address over there. And do you really want to sign a lease for a place in Thailand before you even sold your house? How about quitting your job? I often say it's like juggling chainsaws. There's just 1,000 balls in the air simultaneously to get this done. But as of now, I've got almost everything done. I'm down to just easy stuff that I can get rid of, and the biggest holdup right now is getting all the paperwork to ship the dogs. That too will be a separate video, and holy crap, you're gonna be blown away by how expensive it is to ship pets overseas. All right, so that's it for video number 2. The whole idea of this was give you a standard of living comparison. So you've seen pretty much the life that I had before, and later on you'll see the life that I have in Thailand, and it can help you to decide whether or not you think this is a good call for you. So hit the subscribe button and give me a like if you will, thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video.